Ahead of its annual developer and admin event, TrailheaDX, Salesforce is announcing new community features for its Trailhead online training platform. Today, I'm joined by Senior Vice President for Trailhead Marketing and Community, Kris Lande, to talk about the new Trailblazer Community. I'm also joined by Tony Nguyen, a Trailblazer who's volunteered to share his story of going from being unemployed during the COVID-19 pandemic to getting a job as a Salesforce admin. Kris, I'll go to you first. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much for having me. Always love seeing you, Bill.
And Tony, thank you for joining me as well.
Thanks for having me, you guys.
All right, so let's get right to it. Kris, I'll go to you first, which is what is Salesforce announcing with the new Trailblazer community?
Yes, so we have a big announcement, and I want to give you a little bit of the background of how we got here. Last year when the world basically changed overnight, and we all had to learn how to use new technology. We had to learn how to connect, how to do this with technology. And this was something that was really important to us. For our community, they really had to learn how to be together without actually being together like they're used to. We have this amazing, vibrant Trailblazer community all across the world, 1,300 community groups who meet monthly and quarterly to share Salesforce skills and to learn together. And they had to do that virtually over the past year and a half. And when we're looking at what our community is doing, we just saw how vital it is to be able to connect the learning experience to the community experience. And so what we're launching, we're going to be launching it this next week, right before TrailheaDX, our Trailblazer Community Conference. We are launching the reimagined Trailblazer Community. We are bringing together the learning experience in Trailhead and the Trailblazer community experience. So you can learn, earn, and connect all on one modern unified platform. And we think this is just going to be a game changer for our Trailblazers.
Kris, I think that's a really important point because, I have been an adjunct professor for a really long time. And so I'm used to an education model where you have someone with knowledge and experience who is imparting that knowledge. But there's also a community aspect and a collaborative aspect to the learning experience between people who have either been through that learning experience, who are going through it together as a cohort. Talk to me a little bit about why you thought it was important to blend those two together, both community with what you're releasing now and the new sort of features, and the traditional Trailhead platform, which is about imparting that knowledge.
Yeah, and I think something that we all know is that learning is better when we're together, when we're learning alongside our peers. We see that over half of learners say that they are turning to peers first for knowledge. And that's a little bit harder now. You can't just, I'm at home right now. I can't turn around and talk to my colleague like I could in the office. And so we really wanted to find new ways to help our community learn better together and really use technology to do that and to really facilitate learning alongside each other, being able to easily ask questions, plug in the right knowledge from Trailhead to really help our Trailblazers maximize their learning, maximize their potential with Salesforce.
And Tony, I think this is an excellent segue over to you because you have a personal experience here. Tell me a little bit about your job before the pandemic. What were you doing?
Yeah, so prior to being a Salesforce admin, I was a regional manager for a local chain here in Minneapolis, Minnesota. And then, during that time, with COVID and everything, I lost my job last year and then transitioned into tech during that time.
What was it that what inspired you to learn Trailsforce skills? What was it? Because, there are other opportunities out there, but what was it after going from that career sort of got you introduced to Salesforce?
Yeah, so I was talking to a girl named Christina, and during our conversation, I was debating between, continuing the restaurant industry, the hospitality industry, or, just switch to something completely new. And tech is one of those things where it seems like it's never going to go away. If not, it's just improving over time. And I was like, it'd be awesome to enter the tech industry. And talking to her, she was like, "Oh, you should look into Salesforce. You seem like a great fit." And then at that time, I had no idea what Salesforce was. I didn't even know Salesforce was a company, right? It's insane. Like it's a huge company. Then had no idea. And then I started digging into it, and then I was like, well, Salesforce is huge, and they're planning to create all these jobs, millions of jobs over a period of time. And I was like, this seems interesting, and I was trying to find a way to learn how to become a Salesforce admin. After some research, I found Trailhead, and then from Trailhead, I ran into Pep Up Tech, which is like a cohort of alumni where it's a program where they teach minorities how to utilize Salesforce. And then during that time I spent before the class, I got accepted class in August. So from April to August, I was just kind of like sitting there, didn't really know what to do. So I was like, either I can learn by myself before the class, or just sit here and not really do anything, right? So I was like, I found Trailhead, hop on Trailhead, and spent 8 hours a day for the next 2 months before the class started, and just went at it.
Tell me a little bit about before you got into Salesforce. Did you have any technical knowledge whatsoever? Had you done anything? And I don't mean, everybody these days can use a smartphone, usually, use a computer, that's not it. But had you done any, training around, either programming classes, either, coding? Did you have any exposure to anything like that, or IT, or was this a brand new and complete kind of new set of skills you were learning?
I mean, besides playing video games on the computer, I no technical background whatsoever.
That's really cool. And I'd love to hear a little more about that community support, because that's what we're really talking about, and what Kris was talking about earlier, which is, that there is a shared learning experience, and it sounds like from what you're describing, you had that. So tell me a little bit more about how the other trailblazers, as Salesforce called them, how they helped you throughout that process. How did they connect with you? Did they provide advice? Did they recommend certain trails that you take? How did they support you as you worked to sort of transform your career?
Yeah, so to be honest, I fell in love with Salesforce is because of Trailhead and the community. Like the reason why I'm still doing the job, and the reason why I'm so passionate about the job is because of those two things. During my process of learning, there's definitely a lot of times where I failed, like say certification, for example, I failed the first time. What's not like what clicked the most was like one of my tweets was about me failing the first attempt, and that was my most liked tweet up to date, right? Like everybody in the community was like, oh, it's okay to fail the first time, you can do it, keep going. So like I noticed every time I fail something, there's always someone there to support me. And if I don't know something, there's always someone out there in the community that can answer my question. So like being a new admin, it's really hard to know everything, and it's impossible to know everything, right? But with community being there behind you, it's a good support structure where you say, oh, hey, if I don't know something, I can definitely find the answer to that. And having that peace of mind just makes the job a lot easier, and for you to like continue doing what you're doing.
I'll let you know a little secret. I didn't pass my first Microsoft certification 20 years ago either, so that's not you're in good company there. Kris, I'll throw it back to you, because I'd like to expand on that role of community, like you were talking about and what Tony was just talking about there. What role did community really play in helping, or what role does it play in sort of helping people learn new skills? And connect to new jobs over the last year. As Tony describes it, and as you were talking about, we've all been isolated. We've all been doing things through video chat this past year. So what role did community play in that?
Yeah, I think, the Trailblazer community and Trailhead has just It's been a vital tool for anybody who's looking to skill up in the Salesforce ecosystem. And we have over 4.2 million jobs being created by 2024. And with Trailhead and the community, like, we're really helping people skill up for those jobs and be connected to people to help them, mentor them, help coach them to get those jobs. We look at around the community, especially during the last year, and the community just has lifted each other up. We look at, there's this woman in the UK, Gemma, when she saw people around her were losing their jobs, she quickly spun up a webinar series called Learn Salesforce with Gemma to help other people learn Salesforce skills, because she wanted to share these skills. She wanted to make sure that people weren't left behind. Or you have Amy, she's an amazing Salesforce admin. When all of the Salesforce events were suddenly canceled due to the pandemic, she created this open source event list where everyone could add their virtual events to this list. And she just broke down these barriers. Anybody could attend any meeting. So if you were in San Francisco, you could join the Boston user group. And she just opened it up for everyone and really broke down those barriers. And you saw stories like this everywhere of the community really helping each other and helping, especially for those who were looking for new opportunities during this time. So I think the community has just been absolutely vital, and just hearing Tony's story is amazing. Hearing how he went from unemployed during the pandemic to learning these Salesforce skills, getting connected to people to connect him to his amazing new job. And that's really the beauty of Salesforce and the Trailblazer community. Is Salesforce is an easy platform to learn. You don't have to have that tech background. And when you have an easy tool like Trailhead that helps you learn, and you have the community to help you lift you up and mentor you along the way, like, you are just unstoppable, and you can go from zero to being an amazing Salesforce admin, just like Tony.
And Tony, so tell me, I got to ask, how long have you been in the new gig, and how do you like it so far?
I've been in the new gig since last November, so roughly 8 months now. How do I like it so far? I don't think words can explain how grateful I am for the new position and just finding Salesforce as a career. To be honest, it changed my life, right? Before I was working 6-7 days a week, sometimes a month straight, nonstop. And with Salesforce, it gave me the opportunity to actually spend time with my family, my friends.
I take it that, obviously by talking to me about it, you're sold on it. And if there were other people who are watching this, who are kind of in your same shoes, or they find themselves in your same shoes in the future, what would be your advice to them?
I think, just go at it, just give it a try. Worst thing that can happen is, nothing worse can happen, right? Like, if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But fear is always going to be there, right? Like, everything you do, there's always a fear aspect. But I always see the other side is always brighter, so.
Definitely don't let your fear control your fate. So Kris, I'll kind of end with you, because I think what Tony describes, I've heard over and over for people when it comes to talking about Trailhead and Salesforce. And one of the things that helps with that is that the resources at Trailhead and that Salesforce provides are free. So they're out there. You can go use them. The community is willing to jump in, and so it doesn't, other than your time, which is a significant investment. But other than that, there really isn't a lot to lose if you're thinking about building a career in tech.
Agree. All it takes is that we talk about the Trailblazer mindset. It is the learner mindset. It's that continual growth, that's wanting to learn. You just need that mindset. And Tony obviously has that amazing learner mindset, a true Trailblazer. You can get started for free. It is super easy to get started. And of course, we have the amazing community to help you along the way. You heard Tony, when he failed his first certification test, the whole community rallied around him. I remember that tweet, Tony, and I just remember everyone rallying behind you and really just cheering for you. And that is exactly what the community is, just really lifting each other up. And we are very excited about bringing together learning and community in one platform, because we think this is just going to be a game changer and a multiplier for our trailblazers to learn, earn, and connect all on one platform, so we can have more Tonys in the world, more trailblazers.
Well, we certainly need more positive stories like that. Kris, Tony, thank you both again. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you, you guys.